morning. This is me in real time. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. There is some snow outside and it's 10 degrees. It's the day after Christmas. So I'm just gonna go around my apartment and show you what life is like for real. I'm wearing my pajamas. My t-shirt actually says 7 dust. So my bed isn't made yet. I'm not sweating it. I already lit a candle. My place is a mess, but I've been working on it for quite a while. So it looks like a giant mess. That's going to be my office space. This is my living room space. All my art therapy on the walls that I've been working on at my intensive PTSD therapy program. This is my bedroom space. My view. I'm working on vision boards right now. And I'm blasting 7 dust because that's how I wake up. This is my morning routine. So I've got coffee. My coffee of choice is Dunkin' Donuts. And I made this delicious muffin. Can you smell it? Alright, you guys, I'm just being silly. So, I'm not expecting to be, like, having a lot of people on here or anything like that. This is for later reference. I know people will play this back. And, that's cool. I'm going to set this down for a little bit. So I am going to talk briefly as I just go through this morning routine ritual. Okay? I'm going to be trying to do something different in 2018. I've been having these goals and these ideas that as I'm going through this PTSD intensive therapy programs for the past 3 years, I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to figure out a blueprint. Oh yeah. Take a look at this. Look at all this beautiful creamer. I'm going to choose peppermint mocha because it's the holidays. I want to be able to take what I've learned at this intensive PTSD program that I've been in for 3 years, which took me a year to qualify, by the way. And I want to be able to give it back to the people. So I've been, you know, really focused on my life and doing other things and whatnot. But I really want to take some time in this season to figure out a way to give it back to the people. Alright, anyway. This is a muffin made with vegetables. Got it at Costco, you guys. And it's got orange zest in it. And now I'm going to put some Philadelphia cream cheese on it because I'm from Wisconsin and I like cheese. Yeah. Seven Dust is one of my favorite bands ever, you guys. And when I need an extra kick in the butt, that's my go-to music. Okay? So, we're talking about mental health. How's your mental health? I currently know somebody who is struggling terribly. They're in their 40s. They've been medicated for over 20 plus years, and they're just completely neglected. And the whole time I'm walking with this person, I'm remembering what it was like for me. Whatever. Okay, so I turned the music down a little bit. I have like 50 other videos if you want to watch them. Is the music better now? Can you see me in my underwear? I hope not. Alright, that was just my way of getting people's attention. And now nobody's watching because they don't care. So everybody has an opinion, but nobody really wants to help people who need help. Anyway, so this person that I'm walking with is like, I'm remembering the process of what it was like for me to be completely neglected as a kid and a teenager and even in my 20s. And, you know, people looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you snap out of it? Why don't you get a life and get some goals and make something happen for yourself? But the issue about neglect is that neglect is real. And then even if you seem like an able-bodied human being, people don't know how to get involved and so they just stay neglected. So I'm remembering these things as I'm walking with this person. And so that's part of the process that I want to be able to document this somehow. I'm really struggling with writing right now. But I'm going to work on getting disciplined to do that. So, I'm gathering my thoughts. So, I'm remembering some things about this process of being wakened up and having your gifts stirred up and having someone believe in me or believe in someone else, and the process of taking someone from their mental prison and neglect, helping them feel stirred up inside, helping them find their fire and their fight, pushing them into the right direction and say, you can do this, you know, and catching them when they fall. And I'm remembering when I was in a group home, Stoughton, Wisconsin, you know, just outside of Madison, Wisconsin. And I was there for like 10 months. And there was a girl there. Her name was Chris. And I don't remember the situation entirely. Maybe she was suicidal, or I don't know, but basically the whole entire group home did an intervention for her. And we all lined up outside of her bedroom and we yelled at her, talked at her, made her laugh, like whatever. We just went through this process of really just trying to get her attention. It's a green leaf. So, I mean, there must have been 10 or 15 of us it seemed like it was absolutely pointless. I'd never done this before. I didn't even understand what the point was. And I remember at some other point, whether it was a couple days later or later that day, like I had forgotten all about it. I mean, I was 14 years old. And she walked up to me and just said, you know, just so you know, I heard everything that you said and thank you. So, again, thank you for your patience. Any one of you who are watching this. I was just gonna kind of walk around my apartment, let you see what life is like for real. I'm 47 years old. This is me without makeup. Apparently I have a little bit of an iron deficiency. I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and I was diagnosed in 2012. And today I'm 75% better. Okay. I don't know, I just saw somebody's comment. It's like, I don't... They said something about my music is too obnoxious, and how about give us a spa-like atmosphere? Okay. How about you make your own video with those recommendations? So, I think that comment makes a point about why I don't fit in the community, any community ever. Because my methodology doesn't fit anyone's standard whatsoever. None. No one's. This is an aggressive healing channel, by the way, if you haven't figured it out. I'm not knocking you down about your particular PTSD. I'm at a different level. And you're gonna have to do some research about that there's different levels of PTSD. Not everybody who has PTSD is just constantly suicidal and going around a mountain forever and ever and ever, lost and can't find their way. I'm in the season of I've accepted it and I've healed aggressively and I'm 75% better. And I'm here to tell people that you can get healthier and happier and learn how to manage it. I'm in the state of I go and I face my triggers and I look at them and I feel the burn. I'm in a different place. It's kind of like people who exercise. This isn't like you know, seniors walking around the mall or doing range of motion. This is like intense where I'm at. So I get it. That's part of what Yes Flip the Tables is doing, is that I'm trying to show you that there is another way, and it has to be aggressive. That's the only way to get out of the misery. And I make no excuses for this music that I have in the background. I'm wearing my Seven Dust t-shirt. So maybe I only should be speaking to people who like heavy metal. Because that's my reality. And I'm drinking coffee, not tea. So this is never going to be a spa-like environment, whoever you are. Whoever you are that's offended. I have to get some makeup because I can't see I'm looking at that. So, it says that there's never anyone watching, and that's fine. It keeps popping up, and it's really annoying me. I'm going to talk really hard with you because this is what is really disturbing to me. Is that there's these comments from the PTSD community, and I'm comparing it to people who are Christians or who aren't Christians. There's just this, everyone is offended and nobody wants to be shaken to their core. Nobody wants to come out of their comfort zone. This is a problem. This is disturbing. I probably need some lipstick. Alright, so there, whoever you are, person, there's a leaf for your spa experience. So, okay, I'm 17 minutes into this thing, and I just want to talk real. This is going to be my new way of doing this for 2018. Because I do want to wake up the community, and I want to see who else is on board with me. Okay? I don't look like I'm all put together. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to pretend. I'm trying to be real. And it's really disturbing that I'm having to always make accommodations for people in every genre of my life. I'm offensive to Christians because I'm showing this skin and I'm listening to Seven Dust. So according to them, I can't be a Christian, and so they just close their door at me, and I'm not welcomed in the Christian community. I'm not welcomed in the PTSD community because I'm too aggressive. And I'm trying to say I can't exist where you all are. And that's because I have come to realize that I am a pioneer about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and my methodology. My methodology is about being aggressive. And it's just beyond annoying that if you have PTSD, if you have post-traumatic stress disorder, and you expect to be coddled for the rest of your life, then you're gonna have PTSD for the rest of your life. Do you know that you can overcome PTSD? You can overcome it to such a degree that you won't be constantly hypersensitive and constantly triggered. Do you know that? I'm trying to tell you that that's a reality. But you have got to stop expecting the whole world to coddle your disease because you're uncomfortable. The point of having post-traumatic stress disorder is to understand what is the reason for it, what you were built for. The inside of you is reacting to traumatic events so that it can make you resilient. If you start to realize your own pattern, you start to realize that you were born to fight. You were born to be a fighter. And there's a lot of people behind us who need us to go before them and help pull them out. So that's where I'm coming at you with, is the end result. But if you expect the world to continually coddle you and be like, oh, don't play that music, it's too loud, it's so offensive. You know, oh, I don't want to watch the fireworks because they're too loud and offensive. Okay, you're gonna have to be the one to make accommodations. And stop telling the world that it needs to adjust to your trauma. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. Listen to what I'm saying. You have to get yourself out of your comfort zone and learn to live with it Because that's how you push yourself into the fire. The fire is the thing that makes you purified. The fire is the thing that sharpens you. The fire is the thing that strengthens you. Have you seen Hawaii? Look how beautiful it is after fire. If you keep yourself from the fire and you expect everyone to help you to stay in your disease, you're doing yourself a disservice and all of those around you, because I can tell you that you were made to help others. There's too many people committing suicide today because they don't know that there is 5 stages of PTSD recovery. The first stage is when you're just being all like overwhelmed and suicidal. And there's processes in between. But it's the 4th and the 5th stage where you're totally in acceptance and you're working hard to manage it. If you are the one who's going to stay in your first stage of wanting to be coddled and wanting the whole world to walk on eggshells around your trauma, that is not realistic. And you're never going to get better. Do you hear me? So if you think that I'm being very obtrusive, try to hear what I'm trying to say. I can understand what a veteran is going through when they see the fireworks and they hear the fireworks. Now I'm going to tell you that the only way to push yourself through it is to not shove your head in under a pillow and take, a handful of sleeping pills and just be like, okay, I'll wait till it's over. How about you do things like what they do at a gun range or even at a live concert? You put earplugs in. Earplugs. Okay? And if the earplugs aren't enough, you go and you get those big kind that they wear on the runway. And push yourself. Sit there and enjoy the company, enjoy the smells of the barbecue, and enjoy the lights. But that's how you push yourself to accept that you have your post-traumatic stress disorder and to accept that there is joy in the world. And there's a way for you to shield yourself but be present and not escape and run and hide and avoid. Do you see what I'm saying to you? There's a pattern in all of these things. Okay? For me, my trauma comes from when I was a small child. I witnessed violence in my home that I can't even remember. I just know that it was the cause of my trauma. If you read a book called PTSD for Dummies, every page is very, very brief about sources of trauma that are possibly yours and mine. I read that book years and years and years ago, and that's what got me started on this healing journey 10 years ago. And it doesn't make sense to me. It just, none of it makes sense. The causes of it doesn't make sense. But as I grow older and I realize what my triggers are, for instance, if I see a family and a little small baby and the baby is crying like the baby is in distress, oh yeah, I'm triggered. Now, if it wasn't for this intensive trauma therapy that I'm going in, that I've been in, and that I'm almost done with for the past 3 years, I probably would have overreacted and jumped into the car and saved the baby and smacked the family around. Like, because of some stuff that I've gone through over the years recently, my hypersensitive to react and respond, it's just right there on the surface. But that's the other part of what it is that I'm trying to help you understand about how PTSD is a strength. There's a reason why people are firefighters and EMT workers and police officers. I mean, it's part of what their core is all about. They are the social workers. And these are people who are on the front lines of solving life's issues and tending to people's needs when they are in a crisis. The PTSD person was built for this. But if you don't get a handle on it through taking time for self-care, just relaxing, but having a routine and just enjoying your sanctuary, if you don't go through some processes of just really focusing on you and healing yourself, giving yourself the nurture and the attention that you need, you're always going to be like, you know, in an unstable, snappy, bitchy mode, you know. So anyway, I know I'm just going on and on and on and on. I'm just here to try to really get a conversation going with people. This is going to be 2018. You know, the program that I'm involved in, it actually was a new program. The program that I was involved in was a brand new program. So I know that we have a long way to go still when it comes to trauma and getting the proper help that we need. And this is what I do on my channel, is I just unscripted and I just kind of rant and talk. Probably gonna make another coffee here. Get better lighting. There's all these overhead lights. Aren't they sucky? Overhead lights. I'm sorry if I seem so insensitive. What I'm doing on this journey is staying authentic to me. I'm not sorry for that. I'm saying that I'm sorry if I seem insensitive to you, but I have to stay authentic to myself. So I'm looking for my tribe. I'm looking for my kind of people who have PTSD. I'm imagining that those are people who are veterans, straight out of the military. That's what I imagine. People who like to listen to Metallica every day because they know it kicks their ass. I see that one person is watching. Can you say who you are and where you're from? So yeah, I thought that I would go live instead because I want to try to do something different. I see 2 people are watching. Can you tell me who you are and where you're from? Please. Before 2018, I am going to tackle this space this space, I want to turn it into my workstation, my office. I have something I call love bombs on Facebook. That's just, you'll have to look into that. I'm not really here to talk about that today. But I have a lot of stuff that I need to deal with. Like, I need to sit down and discipline myself and start writing. And figuring out how to take all of my notes for the past 3 years and give it to the world. That's what my goal is. Part of my frustration, I'm from Germany. Awesome. Hi. I'm not from Germany, but I am German and Hispanic. My grandfather's last name is Strom. S-T-R-O-M or S-T-R-O-H-M. And somebody told me that that actually means electricity. Like a power, like the power line outside. Power. How are you? Or river. Oh, see, I didn't know that. That's wonderful. Thank you. Do you have post-traumatic stress disorder? So, I'm gonna stay on. Nope. Okay, cool. That's cool. What's the weather like over there in Germany? Here we have, I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, USA, middle of America. It's winter. We don't get winter here too much. Pretty windy. Yeah, we've had some crazy winds, haven't we? All around the world. But yeah, it's 10 degrees here. A little bit of tiny snow. Is it winter in Germany? I have a friend in Australia. She said it's summer there. This is pretty cool. Would you mind sharing my video? That would be awesome. Around 10 here too. No real winter anymore in the south of Germany. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to turn this around. I'm just going to show you some of this art that I've done. Pardon me for a minute as I turn on the light. So I'm going to show you, like, I don't even know if you can see that, but all of those are images of my trauma. But it's a part of the trauma therapy, art therapy program. They call this the doodle drawing. So you basically take your opposite hand, shut your eyes, count to 10, basically make a doodle, and then you color in all the spaces. Basically proving anyone can draw. And it's just very freeing. That was make a picture of a superhero. Well, that's a picture of me. I'm my own superhero. This one is actually very significant because that was pretty recent. I'd say about 2 months ago, and it is acrylic. But I was really pissed off at the art teacher. I felt like, you know, she's forcing us to do this, damn it. Of course, I mean, I'm there on my own free will, but I pushed myself, and it took me 2 tries, 2 different weeks to do this. Over a course of a couple weeks, I think, actually, because I was realizing that at the point of one of my traumas as a teenager, when I was going to art school, is when I checked out of life, and I stopped painting and whatnot. And anyway, so this was a breakthrough moment, very recently. And it caused me to just come to some realizations. And then I actually went out and bought some art supplies for the first time ever since that teenage trauma. That doesn't mean I haven't bought markers, and what I'm saying is, like, I literally went and bought art paper, real art supplies for the first time. This is a picture. It's really all just markers, but it's actually dated September 16th, 2011. That was like the really beginning of my turning point. And I was on like lithium or something. I really felt like, I really felt like fully alive. I was on drugs. That was not good. Medicated drugs. And today, I'm not on any drugs. Coffee. So, looks kind of, whoa. So, better turn that light on. Alright, so, a big part of what I'm going to be doing after I get that office sorted, okay? I have someone in my life right now who, this person is an answered prayer, because I really want to get back to the beginning and try to document line by line, like a strategy, like a blueprint, from the beginning point of feeling lost and seemingly helpless, like, or hopeless, where the whole world is given up on you, on me. And the turning point of saying, okay, I'm going to kick this thing in the ass, whatever it is that's holding me back. Okay, to the Christian, I'm not talking to the Christian right now, okay? I'm talking to the person who doesn't have a savior. I'm talking to the person who needs a helping hand. And the whole thing about it is just, it's so bizarre, because I mean, how many of you look at homeless people and you just go, what can you do for that? You know, what, huh? You know, it's a seemingly hopeless situation. And I want to take things to a new realm. Because what do you do for a homeless person? You hand them a couple bucks, maybe you hand them a nice care package filled with some toiletries and socks and maybe heating mitts, or maybe you throw some blankets at them. I mean, maybe you give them a hot meal. It's just, they are temporary comforts, and those are necessary. But I'm talking about looking at the roots of us who have post-traumatic stress disorder. And what I'm really saying is, I think that neglect has a lot to do with it. We've neglected ourselves, and the people around us have neglected us, and we've been in the system. Turn it down just a little bit more. We've been in the system so long that most likely we have been neglected. Now, I know for a fact that I have been misdiagnosed my whole entire life. And something happened when I was going to college in 2007. And I started to realize a pattern. I was like, I'm here at college. Why can't I get my shit together? Why am I feeling like I want to quit again? And I was noticing that that's how I felt when I was in school, when I was in high school. So I was just noticing a pattern. And I don't really know how it ended up happening, but I ended up going to, the dean of the school. I told him what had happened to me that day, and they said, well, we actually, because you're a student here, we can give you like 6 free counseling sessions at such and such place. And so I went and I insisted, I think I have post-traumatic stress disorder. And I need you to tell me if that's what it is. We need to find this. I got to understand what's going on. This has got to be what it is. And so I just started insisting that that's what I had, without having full understanding, okay? And I mean, that's what it turned out to be. And now here's the other aspect of it. When you first get diagnosed or you first start exploring that part of your life, right? Most people give up. It's just, man, I gotta find it, okay? Most of us just give up. Oh, look at this. I have a giant pile of stuff to look through. Can you see that book? This be the change you wish to see in the world. So yeah. So funny. This thing about this, having this PTSD thing, is that, you know, you really have to qualify. Here it is, look at that. And I was wondering, like, I know why everybody's saying it's too hard, it's too hard, it's too hard, because everything that somebody's saying is going to be like triggering you. Blah, you know, that's just like the lady at the beginning of this video. She's like, that music, you know, okay, really? All right. So I just, you know, we have got to come to understanding. And I know I'm going all over the place because I'm really trying to figure this out. But I can assure you that there are some programs, okay, that understand the sensitivity issue. I'm in one of them. It is a group therapy that anyone can come to, but you have to have the diagnosis. And there are 2 moderators there, and they are very awesome because they lay down the rules for 3 minutes, and no one is allowed to speak details. And I'm telling you, that is amazing right there. If anybody even tries to go into too many details, it's stopped instantly. So does that mean that you still will feel uncomfortable? Yeah, there will be times. There will be times that people, whatever it is they're doing, maybe it's their energy, it doesn't matter. You're going to get triggered, and you're going to have to sit through it. And that's called stress distolerance. Or did I just say that wrong? Distress tolerance? But this is the part that I'm trying to get across to the world. You've got to be more mindful and understand that when you're trying to get your healing, you're doing it on purpose. So you are not being a victim. And nobody is traumatizing you out of the blue. You're going to these places on purpose, like a person goes to the gym. You're purposefully exercising. And the whole point of it is to stretch your boundary, to stretch your heart, to feel your feelings, to ride the emotional waves. You're purposefully doing it, and you're purposefully doing it in a group setting where you're safe, because everyone around you is going through the same thing that you're going through. And plus you have these therapists sitting there who are moderating it, and if things are just getting too overwhelming, you just let someone know, and they'll take you to the side, you know, and they'll have a little talk with you, and you'll decide, can I stay? Do I gotta go? Whatever. Another thing, let's see. Let me try to see. So this is, and I'm taking credit for it. This is something that I did. And then this place that I've been going to for 3 years is that they're utilizing this now. I had come up with this amazing suggestion because I started noticing about the anxiety that people were having when we were in these groups. Now I'm talking about the group that I was in that was a select few. So it was like a 6 months. Every week we met for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And so I ended up suggesting certain things to help people release a little bit of their anxiety, but stay present and stay focused and stay in the room and not leave. little things. Little smushy things, you guys. Okay? I don't know if this one has a light. No, it doesn't have a light. You go to the Dollar Tree and you get these smushy things, right? Not only do you get smushy things, and I don't have it all, but typically I would come, okay, I would come to the class with a thing like this. You know, it's filled with markers and stuff, okay? It's filled with markers. It's filled with these really cool colored pencils. Do you see? It's actually like, it has 2 colors. Okay. I suggested these things. I think I really went to the Dollar Tree and I started buying some of these things. And then it just became a thing. And now every room has this bucket of gadgets. Not only does it have the gadgets, it has the free colors, it has these, and it has things like this. The feeling wheel. I'm telling you guys, anyone can go on Google and look up the feeling wheel, okay? Usually they come already colored, actually, but this is me coloring mine in. But I'm telling you, we don't know what the heck we're feeling unless we look at it. I mean, look at this one, okay? There's six feelings: sad, mad, scared, peaceful, powerful, joyful. Did you ever think that joyful also means aware, creative, playful, energetic, excited, sexy, daring, fascinating, stimulating, amused, extravagant, delighted? Did you ever think that? Look at that. It's all in the light pink one. Oh, no feelings. So this is a big part. Cool. So, I mean, this is a big part of the post-traumatic stress disorder healing process when you go into these deep programs, because this is part of, we who have post-traumatic stress disorder have spent most of our lives disassociated from what we're feeling. If we're not like just detached from what we're feeling, we've been self-medicating. So when we start to feel a little bit of anxiousness or anxiety, we would instantly, you know, smoke it back, drink it back. Maybe we might do other things. Go shopping, go gambling, because we don't want to feel our feelings. Well, this is a big part of the process of healing with post-traumatic stress disorder, is you got to stop running from yourself. When you're running from yourself, you're running from your healing. If you look at, there is a small video on YouTube called, I think you can find it if you say PTSD EMDR Therapy. Okay. Then there's a reason that you found me, because this is just reality. You know, social anxieties, any kind of anxieties, it most likely has to do with something traumatic. So it's completely understandable. And it's something that you just have to look into. So I was going to say, what was I going to say? Uh-oh. I really forgot. Oh. I just have too many things to say. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. But the whole... This person is asking, was your PTSD triggered by a specific event in the military, or was it something that developed? Okay. So that's a big part of the stigma that I want to break. Now, there is a book that anyone can look at called PTSD for Dummies. Doesn't mean you're dumb. It's just like they made all these books like PTSD for, taxes for dummies, or, you know, all these kind of books to really simplify a topic. And then I just want to also tell you, that's what I remembered. There is a YouTube video, and I think you can find it when you search PTSD EMDR Therapy. He said cooking for dummies. Yes, exactly. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. It is a very brief video showing what has this person seeking help for post-traumatic stress disorder. And it shows that this person, who was ex-military, but he was at a city market, and a terrible car crash happened, okay? And because he was a medic in the military, because he was there at this market and witnessing the tragedy of an accident, he went into his roles, okay, naturally. And he helped a lady who was injured. But the thing was, like, you know, the lady was there on his lap and she didn't survive. And so it triggered him. And it just put him in a paralyzed state. And he couldn't deal with life for a minute, you know. And he went to go seek help. And when he went to go seek help, he went to get this EMDR therapy. And it shows you the process of how fast it is healing. It is miraculous. It takes you from, I'm talking about within 1 hour. If you go once a week, within the hour. Whatever style of method that they're doing their EMDR. But it takes you from that 10, that hyper 10, you know, that 10 that makes you want to throw up, the 10 intense feeling, and it takes you down. It takes it down. It's just some kind of miraculous healing, and you'll have to look into it more to understand. But in this moment, in that moment, it'll take your 10 feeling and take you down to a 3 or a 2 or a 1. And what they try to do is, if you'll come back, you know, the week next and the week next and the week next. Sometimes you might have to stay in that issue. And they want to make sure that it's really gone out of your system, so that if you go through something like that again, even by talking about it, it doesn't take your 10. It doesn't take your emotions to a 10. Okay? There's just something amazing and miraculous about this EMDR therapy, you guys. I don't care what anybody tells you. It's hard work, but you're going to go from your 10 and not wanting to be triggered and not avoiding life, or the issue, or the matter, or the topic, and it takes you all the way down to a 3, to a 2, to a 1, to a 0. And you're able to cope. And you don't feel this overwhelming wave of emotions. So, in that video, it also shows that this person, not only is he ex-military, but he just witnessed a devastating event, but it got down to the core issues about what happened to him as a kid. He remembered that he grew up in a violent environment as a kid at home, okay? And his dad did bad things. Like, he used to be a drinker, and the house was on fire, and one time the dad took him to a bridge and dangled him over the bridge. I mean, as a kid. Okay? But you see in this video, in this very brief video, they actually are doing brain scan on it, because when they show you in the PTSD brain scan, and this is where I'm not a doctor, okay, you guys, but it shows when a person who has PTSD is that they're so hyper aroused, so many parts of their brain is working overtime, and it's just, you know, it's like alert, crisis, you know. That's what PTSD is. It's about a person being in this emergency mode, you know. I'm ready to fight. I'm going to handle this crisis. And the pieces of the brain are just on overdrive. And even in this small, short amount of time on this video, it shows how the parts are calming down and they're less lit up. So it's miraculous. It's called EMDR Therapy. You absolutely must look into it. Now, is it difficult? Yes, it's difficult. Now, let's get over this. It's difficult. Healing is a difficult process. Okay, sorry. That was just me waking up for the day, okay? That was just part of my waking up for the day. That's all, okay? I hope it's low enough, okay? All right, thank you for coming back. All right. So, to go back and answer your question about, you know, what is my deal? Like, why do I have PTSD? Well, I was raised in an atmosphere of domestic violence. I just don't remember too much of it. My mom ended up leaving my dad when I was 5. But some crazy stuff went down, you know? And I don't recall ever being abused. I was neglected. I know that's an oxymoron because neglect is abuse. What I'm saying is I don't recall anything bad happening to me. And that's why it's been very difficult for me to even understand how the heck do I have PTSD from childhood. But the thing about PTSD is that it shows a pattern. So that's what I'm trying to do with right now. Like I say, I have a person in my life right now who needs help. He's in his 40s. He's in the hospital right now. He's trying to get off a bunch of medication because he's been on this medication fog and he's not learning any life skills. He's not getting better. So what good is the medication? That's another thing about PTSD, and everyone okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Laura Lee. We will talk about these things. We will talk about these, okay? If you stick with me. I'm going to stay on live as long as I can. We'll go there. So something I've learned in this intensive PTSD program is that we are misdiagnosed. And there's a reason why medication doesn't work for us. Okay? And amen. Really? Okay, Laura Lee. Laura Lee is a counselor. All right, cool. Well, maybe there's another good reason why we're here meeting, because it's what I want to do. I want to give this back to people and help them. For people who aren't in a program, but hopefully you can find one. I don't know. So I feel like my thoughts are all over the place, but I'm trying to say that this is miraculous to discover that people with PTSD are misdiagnosed. Well, no kidding. I've been misdiagnosed my whole damn life. Being told that I'm bipolar, depression disorder, like, you guys, let's just look at the positive side of most things for a minute. After 9/11, the whole world had PTSD, okay? This is a reality. Every single time, and here's the other thing, every time you sit down and you watch the news, you're giving yourself PTSD. Do you know that? You're doing it to yourself. Stop watching these traumatic things. Unless you're purposefully going to go heal and face it, don't subject yourself to trauma. You're subjecting yourself to trauma. I don't know how many times a day are you watching the news. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Just even if they don't show a traumatic event, you're imagining it in your mind. You're subjecting yourself to trauma. Come on, you guys. All right? So I've learned There's a reason. Medication isn't working for people with PTSD. And now why? Look, I'm not going to knock you guys who are, you know, you're drinking and you're smoking pot. This is called self-medicating. I don't care what anybody tells you. You're still not facing your emotions. You cannot be living like you're afraid of yourself. Let's look at one more person. Somebody real quick. You can go to YouTube and look up ex-Marine John, Jon, ex-Marine John. Can't remember his name right now. But he was from, I want to say, the Iraqi or Afghanistan war. We're talking about just a couple years ago. And he's on a panel, and he's telling everyone, and he's showing video about some of the things that happened while he was there, and how the people were telling him, you know, giving him these orders to shoot and kill, you know, and at some point he just had a breakthrough, and he was just like, this is stupid. Okay? John Turner, that's it. And as he's at this panel, you know, he takes some of his medals and he rips them off of his chest, and he's like, you know, there's a saying, you know, once a Marine, always a Marine. And he said, there's also a saying, you know, eat the apple at the core. I'm no longer a Marine. You know? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to gather all of us people who are just like, we are having breakthroughs. We're tired of being brainwashed. We're tired of going with the flow and not, you know, rocking the boat. We're tired of pretending that, you know, there's no effect. And I'm not trying to turn this into something political. I'm trying to just say, when you start to do your own research about your own healing, you're going to start to see the pattern. And this isn't about blaming someone. It's about blaming ourselves for putting ourselves in the same predicaments or to the next generation and not stopping it now and bringing awareness and healing and all this. I'm a product of, I don't know, two generations. My father and my grandfather are ex-military. Okay? I know for a fact my dad had PTSD. Was he a bad man? He was a bad man and he was a good man. What can I say? I don't know. I mean, in my soul, I can see how PTSD was a cause about where he was coming from. He was in Vietnam. I was born in 1970. Whatever he did in the military, I don't even know my dad very well, but he jumped out of airplanes. All I know is that when he came home, he was homeless. He was drunk. He was beating up my mom. Who do you not know who came from Vietnam who wasn't doing that? Raise your hand. Okay? If I was to say stop going to war, stop signing for the military, that's really what I would be saying. Okay? Because you're giving yourself PTSD, and if you don't give it to yourself, you're giving it to your sperm, and some child that you're going to make at some point is going to get PTSD. I'm not trying to go there. I'm really just trying to talk about, we've got to take responsibility. Alright, so I found this, and I know I'm saying 110 things. You're asking about, where's my PTSD from? So there's a pattern. There's a pattern of trauma. And the thing about trauma is that anyone can recover. By the way, did you know that? You can get into a car accident, and if you get it, you know, realized, and you get yourself healthy and healing within the 30 and the 60 and the 90-day range, you're going to be okay. And it's not going to affect you too much. You know, you're going to be able to come back to work, and you're going to be okay. You know, you're still going to be hypersensitive, Yes. Amen. But for a lot of people, you have trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma, and there's no time to recover, and there's no one in your environment to help you through the healing process. And especially when you're a child, you don't have coping skills as it is. Right on, Laura Lee. Same here. And so that was my situation. It was one thing after another after another. So every single time I saw my mom and dad fighting, that was traumatic to me. Because you didn't see what I saw, okay? I saw some bad things, okay? And I didn't know how to process it. I just remember, right. I might even start to cry sometimes, but it's like, I just remember standing back and just being like, I'm watching it like it's a movie. And it's like, I'm watching how people are reacting. I'm 4, I'm 5. And I see the EMT workers come, you know. I'm just standing there. Yes, Laura Lee. I mean, it's just like a movie. And as a child, you don't know how to cope. So it's one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. I'm not a child anymore. I'm an adult. And I know that if there is a child present witnessing a traumatic event, I'm going to grab that kid. I'm going to shield their eyes. I'm going to shield their ears. Because a child doesn't have the ability to process traumatic events. And they're not supposed to. So that's what I would do as an adult now. I would shield that child. And I would go and I would talk to them. And we would talk about it. And we would do art therapy for days and days and weeks and months if we had to. Because if that child did see something, if they felt something, they need to process that. They need to turn the memory into words. Right. Right on, Laura Lee. They need to be able to turn what they're seeing into words. And all I'm telling you is all about all these things that I've seen through some of my research. I researched, you know, a band I love is a band called Incubus. I love that dude, Brandon Boyd. I love his voice. I love their music, okay? I love how oceanic it seems. It just seems like it's like really flowing. And Brandon Boyd talks about how his mother used to make him do art therapy all the time. And anyway, you just have to listen to what he talks about. Right. And it's exactly right. Actually, I have a lot to say about that. You say that we will prevail, but sometimes we don't. We have feelings, but we don't have words. That's me. I don't have words. I'm still struggling to find my words. Because it's just something about all that I went through as a kid. I mean, I was in LD classes because they just thought that I was slow. I was neglected all throughout my school life. They just thought I was slow, but it was because I was neglected. There was nobody reading books to me. I wasn't learning things at home. And you know, I went through a court situation a couple years ago, and the guardian ad litem said to me, when she met me for the first time, she was surprised, and she said, "You're very articulate." Because the person I was in court against probably made me sound like a retard. No offense. I might use words that are offensive. But even in that process, I mean, I had to deal with a social worker for a minute, and like she was looking in my house, like she was looking behind every door. Thank you, Laura Lee. She's looking behind every door. What's in here? What's in here? What's in here? What's in here? And I followed her because I knew what she was trying to do. She was trying to find something shitty in my environment so she could take my kid away. She never did. I was on top of it. I was on top of it every minute of the day, and she actually got pissed, and she was like, you know, you don't seem like somebody who has PTSD. Anyway, I hadn't even started my therapy yet. Because I know I defy the odds. I defied the stereotypes. I know it. But, so, to finish what I was saying. Right on, Laura Lee. I can't wait to talk with you someday. Maybe we can do a Google Live. You can even get on here. If you know how, I don't even know how to do that. You can get on here. Cool beans. I think you have to do Google Hangouts, but honestly, I don't even know. So, I just have gone through a lot of traumas, even throughout my life as a teenager. Facebook, yeah, you can do that too. But I just like the idea of having it YouTube. But yeah, we can do both. You can find me on Facebook, yVoNNe Christine Opreen, O-P-R-E-A-N. Okay, and we can try to do a Facebook Live then. All right. So, you know, I'm jumping all over the place. Okay, so I don't know how well you can see this. What does it say here? Right at the top. Does it say? Let me look. 5 stages in the recovery process. There. Do you see that? Okay. He's actually an ex-military person who is in school. He just finished school. He wasn't a client. He was, and he wasn't a therapist. He was like a student. But he's in the system now helping others. He handed this to me. So I know that he is ahead of the curve. And we are friends on LinkedIn, but he's super busy. But I know that our paths have crossed for a reason. I think I might need to get my glasses because I can't see that. But I want to read that to you guys. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so as I look into this, I'm going to be talking to you guys about myself and this particular person that I'm walking with right now. He's in the hospital trying to get off of his medication. And look, it's a big deal because he's been medicated for over 20 years. He hasn't learned any life skills. He's not getting better. I'm going to help him. Okay. Look right at the middle. Can you see that? Alright, so the disabling power of a mental illness. Symptoms, stigma, self-image. No. Okay. Somehow we're going to figure this out at another time, okay? But, so, these are the 5 stages in the recovery process. In the center it says, the disabling power of a mental illness. Symptoms, stigma, self-image. So there's 5 stages. The first stage is, life is limited. It says we both gave up. It's the giving up stage. I'm trying to make this a reality with the situation that I'm in. This particular person that I am working with. He's in his 40s. He has lived alone for the first time for the past year. He has been living with his mother and his sister all the way up until there. He was even married. He's a widower. So I don't even know. Did they live on their own? I don't know. They might have. I don't even know all those details. But this is his first time living on his own. People have given up. But he's lost a lot of weight. He's not doing the self-care things that he needs. He's even been in a vocational rehab program for 3 years and never got a job. This is ridiculous. This kid is being neglected, and he just doesn't have life skills. So he can take... I'm going to be it. I'm going to be his peer advocate. We're going to look into this. We're going to look into a couple different programs. We have something here even called The Whole Person, because I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. So right now, okay, cool. I'm going to be at his family meeting. Okay. And I'm going to be advocating for him. And we're going to insist that I'm going to become his caretaker. Because when I put myself in the face of these people who have been neglecting him, they're going to get an earful, and we're going to get it done ourselves. Just like the vocational rehab people. Who the hell has a client for 3 years and doesn't help them get a job? Doesn't make them a resume? Oh yeah. Watch me. Okay. So we both gave up. Life is limited, but there's possibility. This is the first stage. But this is very important. This isn't going into a lot of details, but what I'm trying to say is, like, this is the stage number 1 where everybody is committing the suicide, or feeling suicidal, or succeeding with suicide. Look, you guys, you got to realize, you got to shout to the world. Anyone that you know who has PTSD, you got to tell them that there's 5 stages, okay? Share this video. You can tell them to fast forward to this part, 1 minute and 18 seconds if you want, or 1 hour and 18 minutes. If you don't want them to sit through all the rest of it, you got to let them know, man. There's 5 stages. Don't give up. Snap out of it. All right. And that's the other part of it. Some people need kid gloves. I have compassion. I have empathy. I can be sweet. But most of the time, I'm in the life coach ass-kicking stage, okay? It's just where I'm at, all right? Okay, number 2. Change is possible. The fragile flame of hope and courage. Okay, by the way, I'm going to try to show you the first one. Life is limited. I'm going to try to show you the second one. The third one. The fourth one. And the 5th one. Change is possible. The fragile flame of hope and courage. Risk. Alright, this is where my friend is. He thinks that change is possible. He's risking a lot of things to try to make that happen. It says the fragile flame of hope and courage. It is a tiny ember. It's a tiny ember. It can go out in an instant. Anyone who comes by with anything, a different opinion, anything, a small little bump in the road could set this person back 10 steps, okay? So like, this is the moment where this person is in the hospital. And they're going to take the risk. They're going to take the risk of having to, you know, expose themselves again to this system. They have to look at their, you know, their past history. They're taking the risk of just walking out of there with the same, all the same. This person doesn't have custody of their kids. They lost custody of their kids. Their sister and mother took custody of his kids. His wife isn't alive anymore from an accident. Okay? This family is where he used to live. This family put him out so he could get his own place. I'm not here to judge this family. I really don't give a crap about them right now. I'm focused on this friend of mine, and I'm going to help him. It's pretty obvious that people are just like tired of him. We're going to help him, okay? So, it's a tiny flame. There's a little bit of hope, there's a little bit of courage, change is possible, and there's risk. There's a lot of risk involved. This person is getting disability, and he puts most of the money into the car for a car payment that is ridiculous. The doctor already told him, you really need to get rid of that car because that car is killing you. That's not for me to decide. That is way too of an extreme decision. However, I said if you go for that, if you do that, then understand I have all these other things in place. I'm going to help be your caretaker. Then I'm going to make sure that you get all the things that you need. And I have a car and I will take you places. But we got to make sure that I'm going to be a paid caretaker. You hear what I'm saying? There's going to be a goal in the end. You're going to get a car again. But after you get some of this under control, get this mental health situations going and get into a program to get a resume and get your skills and, you know, working part-time and all this stuff. Like, you know, okay, if you sell that car, then you have to do all these other things so that you can get a car again. But you're not going to just go get another car again when you feel like going to go get another car again. That's going to be your reward. Like, do you hear me? All right. And the other part of it with this particular person is a lot of my concern is it's been really hard for me to understand, like, I can't tell, is there something else going on with this person? Because how can you be in your 40s and have no life skills? How can you just be neglected? Look, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I've just been trying to figure it all out in a way where there might be, this person could be autistic and he hasn't been diagnosed. There's programs for people who have autism, and you really have to be hands-on with these people, okay? There is a way that even autistic people can live on their own and not be neglected. So, there's a lot going on with this kid. I just don't know. He's in his 40s. I keep calling him a kid. But, right on, Laura Lee. Alright. Number 3, commitment to change, simple acts of courage and support. Okay. Now, that's also the other part of this particular thing with this guy that I'm helping. He's never had a therapist. He's gone through this system a million times. Okay? He's gone to the hospital, gotten the medication adjusted. You know, and every time anybody goes into the hospital, you get a piece of paper that says, okay, now you got to go follow up with this treatment and this therapist. He's never gone, you guys. Never. So that tells me that there is a lot of neglect with the people that he knows. Yeah. Okay. Right on, Laura Lee. I appreciate your feedback big time. Yeah, so that tells me that everyone is neglecting him. His wife that passed away, his mother, his sister, his cousin, and his uncle. All the people that he's been surrounded by Nobody's kicking him in the ass. This person doesn't have a drug problem. You know what I mean? They're not like getting drunk and high all damn day. You know what I mean? They're just going through life. Seriously, that's not okay. All right, so the commitment to change part is the support. And this is what I've been discussing with this person. And talk to me. You know, and I really just tried to give her my 2 cents worth, and she was just like, well, wow, okay, so we'll admit him because I think that maybe we can help him this time. And if you're serious, I'm serious, and he's serious, if we're all serious, you know, we're gonna make this happen. And that's my number one thing with this kid, is I'm saying, look, 2018 is right around the corner. If you don't follow up with this therapist and believe that all these things, I'm a living testimony. This stuff has happened for me, it can happen for you. If you don't go and follow up with an intensive program, you might as well go and put yourself at Osawatomie State Hospital and let them deal with you. I'm trying to be realistic, because otherwise that person needs a transitional housing situation. Otherwise, that's what they need. They need to go into a group home setting. But they can't live alone. No way. They're just going to neglect. If I told you every single thing, okay, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you. This person's apartment, very organized, by the way. Exactly. Wow, Laura Lee, you're awesome. Okay, we're in agreement. His apartment is organized, by the way. Very impressive. He cooked dinner for me one day, and it looked awesome. Okay. He made BLT sandwiches, and it was a beautiful setup. He was a great hostess. He had a plate of lettuce, a plate of tomatoes, a plate of bacon, a plate of toast, plates, forks, knives, drinks, water, but he knows how to take care of himself to some degree. Okay? So there's a big part of me that's stating, there's just been nobody to help this kid. There's been nobody to give him life skills. I'm willing to do that for him. Okay? I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a caretaker, and it's going to happen, and it's going to be successful. Okay? But that's what we're talking about. If this is his only chance. Otherwise, he needs a group home situation. He's in his 40s. Anyone can learn how to take care of themselves. But look at how extreme this situation was, okay? So this is his first time living on his own for the past year. He lost a lot of weight. I'm putting 2 and 2 together. Screw you doctors. You seem to be dumb, apparently. He's not eating because his mother and sister used to cook for him, you guys. Hello, it's not this complicating. Does he have food in his apartment? A little bit. Does he know how to fix it? Clearly he does. He made me a BLT sandwich. He knows what he's doing. But he has a disconnection with life skills. He doesn't have the aggression. Okay, you know what? I know 80-year-old men who've had wives and girlfriends all their lives. They don't know how to cook the food for themselves and feed their own damn mouth. Do you know what I'm talking about? Somebody shout out. I know a man who just has so much pride, he refuses to fry his own eggs until his wife comes home. Okay? So there's this whole gamut of, is this person lazy? Are they just like a helpless man? Okay. They know how to do it for themselves. They just have pride and they want to be served. Okay, this is what we're talking about with this kid. He's used to being served. He's used to his mother and his sister taking care of him. So let's make the disconnection. This kid is wanting to become a man and hasn't had anybody believing in him or pushing him. They've been enabling him. So, and with this person, I know that he's not like a male chauvinist. He's not that. That's my point. When I came over to his house for dinner, he made everything, and he made me feel like I was a guest. I mean, okay. So I'm putting two and two together, and I'm realizing he has just been around this enabling people, enabling support system. He doesn't have support. End of story. All right, moving on. The fourth stage, actions for change. We rebuilt our lives and responsibility. Okay, that is the point that we have to look forward to. Now, with this particular person, I know he has the possibility because 6 months ago, I started questioning, where his mentality was and how he was independent, and I started questioning these things. And I said, who's doing your laundry? Oh, my mom. You see what I'm saying? So I said, screw that, buddy. You need to go do your own damn laundry. 6 months later, guess what? He's doing his own damn laundry. Okay? So that's an action for change. It might seem pretty small, but in this particular person's world, it's showing me that he has the abilities to do it himself. And that he really doesn't even need a whole lot of coaching or instruction, or he doesn't even need too much push. It's just a little bit. This is amazing, okay? So I want to take it back to myself for a minute, real quick. You guys, I don't know what you think of me. I have a resume now, but it's because I go to a program down the street. I have a job coach and a financial coach. When I lost everything in 2012, and I mean, I lost my kid and I lost my husband. We're not going to go into details right now. But I was a stay-at-home mom and wife. So I had to start over from scratch. No phone, no apartment, no car. And I went to this community center. And I went to their workforce program for a couple of days. It was one of those things you had to go to the library, so you had to sit there and listen to everything. And they made a resume for me. So that was 2012. 2012 is when I got my full-on diagnosis of PTSD. I had mental breakdown, and went to the hospital 3 times that year. I applied for disability, and I got approved, all within that year. I tried to go to work the next year, or that year. I tried to go to work that summer, but they had me on lithium. That was insane. So, yeah, no. There was no way. I mean, I used to know how to work. Okay, awesome, Laura Lee. I used to work at a place called Quad Graphics. We made Playboy magazine and Muscle and Fitness. I could run that whole entire line by myself when everyone went on break. I don't know if you know how difficult that is, but it's a lot of work. Putting all these magazines in these pockets. I don't know how many pockets there were, like 12, I don't remember. I could work hard, okay? I know that I can work hard. But trauma slows you down. Then put medication on top of that really slows you down. And I tried to work at a place, I think it's called Polytainers. Something to do with making plastics or something. I don't even remember too much, but it was like, Laverne and Shirley, it was like 2 of us on a line. It was the fastest thing in there. And I'm on this lithium. I can't function. I'm just like, this is shit. I know I'm better than this. I couldn't keep up. And I had to walk off that job. I was not ready to tell the world, oh yeah, by the way, I'm on lithium because I've recently been diagnosed with PTSD. Screw that. I was going through that process of, damn it, I can do this, but apparently the lithium is not letting me. So, I didn't try to go back to work again until last year, and then I went this year. And this year I had a bunch of different jobs. I don't mean like hiring and firing and hiring and quitting. I mean I've purposefully had a lot of different part-time jobs. I pushed myself a lot this year just to see how far I can go and how well I can be at it and be successful at it again. And I'm actually doctor's orders at a temporary leave of absence because I've pushed myself too much, and you know what I'm saying. So I know I have the ability to do it again, but I'm also doing this without medication. It's what's best for me. So why was I saying all that? I'm just saying all that to say that there is a process, and I want to give it back to the people. Anyone who's listening, and this particular person that I'm working with. And I see myself in this person. Like, it's amazing how much I see the similarities. Clearly, we've both just been neglected. So I was saying all that to say, okay? So at this program that I'm at down the street, okay, it's called the Community Service League. This is my second time with a different job coach. You know, sometimes, you know, positions revolve, you know what I mean? The person who did my resume was no longer there, so there's a new job coach. And I'm 47. This is the first time ever in my life, you guys, that someone believed in me. This is, it's like, what? Okay, and what are we talking about? We're talking about this particular job that I have. I ended up experiencing burnout because there was a lot of drama all around. There was a lot of mismanagement. I ended up having to call my human resources and report everything because it was beyond stressful. Oh my God. And I'm like, I love this job. This is ridiculous that we're all, because I mean, if I told you everything that we were going through, I mean, there was sexual harassment, there was verbal harassment, there was just all this craziness going on, and the manager was not managing it to such a point that it was affecting customers. We're in customer service, by the way. It wasn't just affecting the team, it was affecting the customers. It was just, oh my God, okay? So I finally, you know, I went and I got the attention of human resources and just was like, you guys, we need help. Please help us. Please help us. Okay, and then something else had happened recently, and I was just like, oh, holy crap, I'm not going to go through this round two. So for me, it was just like, this is like a bad relationship. I'm just going to get off of this and figure something else out. Anyway, so this job coach is fully aware about the issues that I was going through because I didn't just act on my own. I used this job coach to help me process about some of the things to do, about how to handle it. Because he's a job coach. You know, he understands. And at the same time, he was also understanding that, you know, this is my second time back to work. You know, I'm in the vocational rehab program there. I'm defying some of the odds because I'm the one who got my own job and I never needed him to come with me. You know what I mean? I've been very aggressive and not needing very much help. But this particular person, I mean, one of the last times I had to go talk to him about it, he was like, okay, let's go into a different room and talk about this. And he's just like, you know, yVoNNe, you're better than that place. Your leadership skills, you're acting like a manager. You've proven that you have the skills that it takes. You should be making a lot more money. I understand your situation. I'm just saying, you know, he just pushed me. He pushed me. And he was like, don't you even try to go get another part-time job for $10 an hour. He's like, you know, you're 47 years old. You need to make $40,000 a year at the minimum. You need to start thinking about buying a house. Like, nobody's ever believed in me before. And I'm 47 years old. Does this make any sense? So this is why I'm saying all this to say, this is why I relate with this kid that I'm helping. This is reality. You know, we can only push ourselves so much, but at some point we need a helping hand. And we need someone to believe in us. A lot of kids are, okay, cool, Laura Lee. There's a lot of kids in school who are blessed to find that one teacher, or that teacher to find that one kid and believe in them, and then, you know, fuel the flames and push them in the right direction. I should say that, I'm probably saying that wrong. There probably aren't a lot of kids. There's probably very few stars that are born, that are found that way. Because I think the school system is stupid. And I watched something on TED last night, I think. You know, she wants to do life skills classes in schools. Like, that is what's transforming everything. Because anyone will tell you, you're not learning life skills in school. So you don't know how to balance a damn checkbook. I mean, okay. So this is also the other part of everything. You know, it's like I'm trying to look forward to a future. I'm trying to go from the bottom up. I'm trying to do this through this YouTube channel and be authentic and get a conversation going. I'm not running for mayor. I am me. But if I was running for mayor, and I'll make that a video. Like, there's so many different things I can see happening about how we just do things differently and we change things. And it starts with us. It starts with those of us who have this PTSD. I'm telling you, you were created for a time like such as this. But you've got to stop being afraid of yourself and afraid of your trauma and afraid of your feelings. You got to stop that. You got to embrace it. And I'm going to show you how to do that in a safe way. All right. Last stage, impact of illness. Shattering of one's world, hopes, and dreams. Oh, wait. I did this all wrong. I did this all wrong. Look at that. Okay, I didn't do it all wrong. I started with 2, 3, 4, and I just ended in the 5th stage. So let's go back to number 1. Impact of illness. Shattering of one's world's hopes and dreams. Your identity. Oh, wow. Ah. I know exactly what you said, but you do radio? What? I want to do radio with you. All right. This was number 1, you guys. Oh my God. Do you see how I did this all wrong? So I'm going to have to do this all over again. So what I'll end up doing is I'll just do a really small video and show you all these stages. Okay? Then let me go over it really fast. All right. Impact of illness. Your identity. Shattering of one's world's hopes and dreams. Okay. So this friend of mine. How can you be stuck there for 20 plus years? He was diagnosed when he was 19 and he's 42 now. How can you be stuck? It's possible, you guys. You're stuck. You're stuck because that's your whole identity. So we have got to change this. We're only as good as the company that we keep. I am one of those. So many of us fall through the cracks, Laura Lee. That's right. And I'm one of them. And that's what I'm saying. You know, stigma, lack of love, education. Okay, Laura, I'm with you then. We need to get together because this is the point. I've tried to give up. And I'm still here. So no one can tell me that I don't understand what this process of PTSD is all about. And then here's the part that pisses off most of people. Right on, Laura Lee. This identity. There's a lot to say about that because every time anybody gets a diagnosis, whether it's diabetes, whether it's a heart condition, whether it's a cancer, becomes your identity. That's what you think. is your identity. I really have a little bit too much to say on this matter, but aren't we talking about fighting through the stigma, fighting through what everybody thinks the diagnosis means, so I think it's a really big deal about starting at stage 1 about our identity. And I think it really helps to start with the end in mind. The identity of the post-traumatic stress disorder person, I believe, is a warrior. That you were built to fight fires. You were built to intervene in crisis. You were literally built for it. You are built for war. This does not mean that you have to be ex-military. You are built to be a social worker in an intense environment. Okay? You were built for that. Now, what we have to do... Okay. I'm with you, Laura Lee. I haven't found these things necessarily in the scripture, but I'm telling you that this has a lot to do with it for me. My recovery has a lot to do with my identity being hidden in Christ. And I've been surrendering all of this to the Lord. You have to understand, if you are neglected like I'm neglected, who better to know our identity than the person who created us? If you want to get spiritual, that's your business. Okay. You're going to have to find me somehow, Laura Lee. You can shoot me an email, YOLewis, YOLEWIS824@gmail.com. I'm serious like you are. Or find me on Facebook, yVoNNe Christine Oprean, OPREAN. Do you hear what I'm saying? You have to make the connection. Nobody knows who you are except for the person who created you. Now, even if you don't believe in God, how do you start if you don't know where to start? So there's all kinds of, what are we talking about? We're talking about people who've been neglected, first of all. So how do you start? We have to come up with a starting point.
Okay, the new year is just around the corner.
But some of us don't even know where to start. We need help. We need someone to help us. All right. So I'm going to work on some of this. Healing for the Nations. Get out of town. Really? It's called Healing for the Nations? Oh my goodness sakes. Really? All right. Well, let me just throw this out at you, Laura Lee. When I was pregnant in 2009, the Lord gave me a verse, Revelation 22:2. The leaves on the trees were for the healing of the nations. I didn't really understand what it all meant. The whole part of Revelation 22 is about starting with the end in mind. And it's about healing. But it's also about breaking the curse. And it's about finding this solitude and sustenance from the Lord. Because there's this river of life and there's these trees that produce fruit every single month. And it's about abundance and being taken care of. So, you know, this is amazing. Right. So, what I'm trying to do show that there are a lot of good things that are already put in place. We have to utilize them. We have to stand strong on that. But when we surrender it to the Lord, it's a whole other thing. And basically, it puts us on an aggressive fast track to healing. And that's why I am defying odds in such a fast manner. That I am defying odds. Okay? So, this isn't a judgment. Okay? So, it's about giving people hope. So, again, if you understand the timeline of my process, for instance, I'm in the middle of therapy. I had to take a 3-month break from seeing my therapist. I just checked out altogether. I didn't do any more therapies, no more art therapies, no more group therapy. I just took a break. That's a lot of therapy. Because my therapist was having a back surgery, so I was just like, okay, and it's winter. I've been laid off from my job. I'm just going to take a break. So I did. I got back there this year after 3-4 months. And this therapist of mine was just like, holy crap. You know, it's like you just made strides. Like ridiculous. Like holy crap. I've just blown her away. Because even in that time of that 3 months, I really was like, Lord, I don't really want to go to therapy anymore. I feel like these people are just people and they're limited in their resources. You know, I just kept surrendering it and trying to surrender it and trying to just be like, Lord, please, you know. Because the process of EMDR, by the way, you know, you're not forcing yourself to remember things. You just remember as you remember, and then you deal with it. And the whole thing about having this PTSD trauma is that we spent a lot of time disassociated from certain things that we've experienced. Now, when you're a new creation in Christ, by the way, did you ever read that verse that says, "O death, where is thou sting?" Because that's what God does. It's like he takes the memories and the pain away. You know, he only lets you deal with what you need to deal with. He prioritizes your life, and he makes life less overwhelming. So in this process, I'm just like, Lord, I don't want to keep going into this therapy and trying, because we were stuck on. Oh no. Okay, we have to talk about that. Forget those Christian therapists right now. Forget them. I think they're even worse. But we were stuck on a particular thing in my past, and it was just driving me nuts that we had to keep staying there. It's just part of what happens sometimes in EMDR therapy, okay? But it was driving me so nuts. I'm like, Lord, I'm sick of this. This is stupid. This is making no sense. I'm afraid that you're going to try to break through, not you, that the therapy was going to try to break through a memory that I don't need to remember. I mean, what if I was molested as a kid? I don't want to remember that. Do I need to remember that? You know, I think I'm dealing with enough as it is. Like, do you hear what I'm saying? The thing about the trauma therapy is that you don't just like have every single memory and it's all on the table like a puzzle. Okay? It comes out in stages when it's supposed to. All right? But I was just like, you know, what are we doing? I mean, I was like, is this some kind of ass backwards MK Ultra? You guys, I was researching stuff to such a degree that I'm just like, you know, where is this EMDR therapy coming from? Who's really in charge of that? You know, it's just like, I'm not being paranoid. I'm just saying, right. But I was questioning the whole process. but trying to look at it in a different light, where and I'm not saying that I was just being negative. I was just saying, look, I'm not trying to surrender this PTSD to the science world or to the government or to a social experiment or some kind of MSM journal, or, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, no, I'm trying to change the status quo. I want a new blueprint, Lord. And I guess that's how God was answering my prayer. And he superseded the healing process. And by the time I showed back up to therapy, my therapist was like, holy crap, wow. And so this year is when I went into a new direction with my job, and doing other things that I've never done before. I started looking into this thing called becoming a brand ambassador. You can look that up on YouTube. And one of the most awesome jobs that I had, and I'm super proud of it, and I'll show it to you here at my front door. Can you see that? Football 101 Women's Clinic, sponsored by CoverGirl at a pro camp. This is a Chiefs player named Travis Kelce. It's the most money I've ever made in my life. For 4 hours, I made $150. It's just like, wow, okay? It's just a moment that I'm super proud of. And I'm so excited about that. So I gotta reheat my coffee. So I know I can talk about 1,000,010 things, but since this Laura Lee is the person who's here mostly, I would like to know more about this radio program that you're doing and what's going on. I might have to jump off of here for a while and get back on here later. Okay. I think Laura Lee is my only audience. I think I've had about four visitors all day. Wow. Ignorance of the church. Well, I know you might not have time to read all my or watch all my other videos, Laura Lee, but I think I might be one of your perfect guests. But I would ask that you would do a little bit of homework and look at some of my videos so you can see if I am the right person, because I will really shake up your world. When it comes to that whole church stuff, I mean, that really is another time and space about this matter. Okay, well, are you aware, Laura Lee, of the hashtag Church2 on Twitter that just started happening? Hashtag Church2. Have you looked at all of that yet? Alright, well, there you go. When you start to watch some of my testimonies on my YouTube, what I'm saying is that I'm putting it out there about what the Lord has been showing me about a lot of things that I'm going through. Okay, so has tons of people. And hashtag Church2 is the continuance of hashtag MeToo, which is the reason why, if you're noticing, all of this is coming out, okay? There's a huge process. There's a lot of people in prayer. God is answering these prayers, okay? God is the one who is exposing the things that are hidden in the dark. I use my YouTube and I show that this is a process of answered prayer. Tons of us are doing this research and praying, and we're exposing these things. And the hashtag church too is very recent. So it's important to give God the glory that we don't have to keep just talking about these things anymore. God is exposing these things. Okay. I would like to join you on this platform. Okay? Because I have nothing else to lose. I've already lost everything I've already lost everything. And there's a scripture that God says, we overcome him by the word of our testimony. We do not love our lives unto death. So that's where we're at. And so what I do is I try to help the world see that what we're going through is scriptural. Okay? Then it's time for me to be found, because I believe that this is what's going on, is that the Lord is gathering all that's been scattered. This is in Ezekiel 34. Okay? And that we can't be judgmental about what it's supposed to look like. This is part of the process that I've been going through all year. Like this person that I'm helping. Okay. Then I ask that you glean some inspiration from my YouTube videos, because I think that this is the key. We overcome him by the word of our testimony. We do not love our lives unto death. This is how we're going to strengthen others. And, you know, it's a timing issue. We've got to hurry up. I'm going to do it like this. We need to hurry up. You got to hurry up with this being obedient. What I'm trying to do is exactly what I'm doing. Okay. Did you send me the link? Because I don't know how to find you. So you have to send me the link. Okay. That's awesome. You're using the right words. It's about a sense of urgency. We've got to hurry up. And what I mean by we've got to hurry up is I mean people are suicidal. People are falling into this black hole darkness in a split second. Okay, send me the link to my email. YoLewis824@gmail.com. That's YOLEWIS 824@gmail.com. Here. I'm going to see if I can... Heroin is killing. I got to answer a phone call. All right, I have a question. Was that recording on here? I had to take a phone call. Was that whole recording on here? Because that would not be okay. That means I would have to delete this whole entire video. Does anyone know? I just had a conversation with... So does anybody know? if that phone call recorded, then that's not going to be cool, and I'm going to have to delete this whole thing. I've never answered the phone while I'm doing a YouTube live before, so I have no idea if that even recorded, and that's not cool if it did. So... Alright, I'm just going to assume that this is not working. I'm going to have to find out what's up and really check to see. Because if that recorded that conversation, if YouTube recorded that conversation, that's not cool.